film in a variety of career fields. We are a career exploration resource for parents and educators, and through our interactive products and virtual interviews, kids and youth are able to see representation of their race and gender in career fields that they may not even know about. With every product we create, from our educational aids to our apparel and accessories, we are intentional about encouraging and helping kids and youth see that they can become anything they want to be. We are the only company who not only focuses on career exploration for kids and youth, but we also give them an opportunity to ask professionals about their careers every month during our free live virtual interviews as student co-hosts. If you are looking for a company that is dedicated to helping your child or student see that they can become anything they want to be, make sure you visit todayiwantobe.com today. Did you know you can promote your book on the next Authors Helping Authors web show? For more information, text AHA to 202-288-4467. That's 202-288-4467. Calling all authors and publishers. Did you know Everything Authors has a free downloadable directory of platforms you can promote your book on? No longer will you have to search multiple places to market your book because you can find them here. Download your list today at everythingauthors.com/free-resources. That's everythingauthors.com/free-resources.
When it comes to trauma, hardships, single motherhood, and grief, I'm very familiar with these experiences. By sharing my story about growing up with drug-addicted parents, then becoming a single mom and healing my childhood wounds and finding my voice, I hope to encourage young women to let them know that no matter what life throws at them, they can make it. You can purchase my pre-sale ebook on my website at www.tashamonique.com. That's TASHAMONEEK.com.
Want to promote your book with Everything Authors on our web shows and social media pages just like these authors? For less than $9 a month, learn more at bit.ly/promote on web show. That's bit.ly/promote on web show.
say I can be a social
I
worker.
can be a social worker.
Yes, a social worker.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm really excited about our guest author here on the show, Juanita Harrison, and she has written a book called Don't Go That Way. She said, Don't go that way, y'all. Protect your purpose. Now, make sure that you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Juanita and her book as well as the show. Now, if this is your first time ever tuning into the show, thank you so much. Now, the great thing about this show is all of Juanita's contact information is listed in that description box. So now you can actually purchase her book right there in the description box, right there next to the $ is her book purchasing link. Now, if you're watching from any other page other than Martinique Y. Brown, Everything Authors, or even Juanita's page, I need you to come on over to one of those 3 pages and you can actually post your questions and comments because that's how we keep this show interactive. And then I will actually be able to relay those questions and comments to Juanita as well. So make sure, like I said, make sure you're sharing this video now so that people will know about our guest author today, because this is going to be a great show. So Juanita, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Can you tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself and how long you've been a published author?
Definitely. So I published my first book in 2017. I've been writing pretty much my whole life, but just published a book in 2017. I'm a mom, of course, and also I just recently started doing author coaching, and I'm also an entrepreneur, so I also own another business outside of just the writing. So that's a little bit about what I do.
So now, why did you decide to become an author coach?
So I love to help people. And for me, like I'm really just now starting to learn a lot about self-publishing and how you can really do it yourself and be very successful at doing it. So I want to be able to provide people with the same tools that I have learned like along this journey myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, I know that you said that you've been writing for a while, but you actually just decided to publish your book in 2017. What gave you that actual push to say, you know what, Juanita, let's just go ahead and do this? And you did it.
So my book don't go that way. I really was like just writing as therapy for myself and things that I was going through at the time and trying to overcome and heal from. And
Okay.
I was like, I'm pretty sure somebody has gone through what I have gone through in my life. So I wonder if I can put this book out and not even like to make money from it, but just as a
Okay.
way to be able to help other people overcome or not go through the same things that I have gone through in my life.
So let me ask you this. I interview authors all the time. It sounds like since you have been writing for a while, but this is your first book that you published, do you have more books in you?
Yes, so I recently just released a book called Put It Down, Gentle Reminders for Healing.
Mhm.
And then I'm getting ready to release another book later in the summer.
Oh wow. Oh
So I
wow.
love I love writing.
I
So
see. You are getting it now. You say, you know what? I'm done. But that is so good that you mentioned that, because I always encourage our viewers to make sure that they follow our authors, because you all write so many books, and I want the viewers to make sure that they stay in the loop of when you do new projects, when you release new books, and things like that. So now, can you walk us through your book? Don't Go That Way. Protect Your Purpose.
definitely. So and basically the book starts with me having my child, my son Jeremiah, fresh out of high school. And then just the different turns that I made, like since that decision. I had my son. Of course, I wasn't married when I had my son. Like I said, fresh out of high school. So I'm a baby having a baby.
Mhm.
And then just trying to figure it out. I went through a lot of things and the situation that I was in with his dad. We both were very young, and it took this book basically takes people on a journey of like self accountability and not blaming other people or the people that hurt us. It doesn't release them from what they did to us, but it causes you to take accountability for the things that you may have allowed in your life. And
Mhm.
so the book is basically just, it takes you through my journey of finally getting to that place of really listening to God's direction for
Mhm.
my life and also discovering my purpose through everything that I went through in my life. So
Okay.
every trial that I overcame was like, okay, so I went through this, so now I can help somebody else not go through the same thing that I went through.
So now, because you are starting us in your journey, when you were fresh out of high school, how many years later does the book go into?
So it basically, I want to say, so my son is 13 now.
Oh
And
wow.
I released the book in 2017. I had him in 2008. So it goes through pretty much like his whole like elementary up until middle school for him. And then still just I probably could re-release it and add some more things to it.
Hmm.
Some more don't go that way because you knew better to not do that.
Right.
But you did it anyway.
That's the subtitle. Don't go that way because you knew better, but you did
Because
it
you knew better.
anyway.
You did it anyway.
God forgives you. So also with that, I know that you mentioned, just talking about learning how to forgive people and things like that as well in the book. Have the people that you mention in the book, have they read the book at all? Or do you
Uh,
not mention names?
I don't mention names. So maybe, I don't know.
Okay, okay. And the
Hopefully.
reason and the reason why I asked that question is because I wanted to know if you've gotten any feedback from them. Because sometimes when we put other people in our books, and I'm not an author, but I would just think that they'd be like, "Well, that didn't happen like that." So I want to see if there was any like.
Well, the thing to say about that is, be very careful of the way that you are in people's life because you never know how you're going to end up in their story.
Mhm.
Everybody has their own perception of how you were to them in their life. So I don't know, maybe they did read it. They
Mhm.
should, probably. It might help
Mhm.
them. take more accountability for themselves. But this was a book for me taking accountability and hopefully helping other people to take accountability for their own self. So I don't know, they might have.
Mm-hmm. So now, what did you mean when you say protect your purpose?
So everything that you do, small or big, it all will affect you in the long run. And so for me, protecting my purpose, and honestly, like in writing this book, I really have discovered what my purpose is. And my purpose is in helping other people publish their books or helping people discover what their purpose is. And for me, my purpose was discovered in the trials that I have overcome and still overcome every single day. So just being very intentional about the decisions that you make in life, because if it's going to affect you in the long run.
Mm-hmm. But how did the things that you went through actually help you discover that you enjoy helping other people? Was it more so like a lot of people helped you and then you began helping other people and you like, man, I like this? What did that look
And
like?
I think it's a mixture of both, because in the things that I went through, I don't want to say I went through it by myself, but in my specific situation, I kind of was like alone in going through it, and not because they didn't want to be there, but sometimes you go through things in life and it can cause you to push away the people who really have your best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for me, it's like not wanting anybody to feel that, and knowing that like you really do have people who really care about you, who have your best interest at heart, and just trying to like give people the tools to not even have to go, like, don't even like go that way. You don't have to do that. You know, you can avoid this situation before it even gets to a place where it got for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's good. So now, if you're just now tuning in, you are watching authors to know and their books to read. And I have Juanita Harrison on the show, and she has written a book called "Don't Go That Way: Protect Your Purpose." If you are tuning into the show, give us a virtual shout out. We will not bite you. Let us know that you are in the virtual world. Shout out to Denise Marie, who is tuning in, as well as Kat C. Jones. She said, "You are beautiful inside and out." And Kathy also says, "Be careful how you treat people in their life because you'll never know how you'll end up in their story." Quote, 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 Juanita Harrison. She said she felt that. And that was definitely a good quote because I feel like that's the tricky thing with authors. When you are a friend of an author, you just never
You
know.
never
So
know.
you're going to end up in that book. So, ladies, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about our guest author, Juanita Harrison, and about her book as well. So, now, what do you feel like was your wake up call moment when you know that made you want to actually start doing things God's way?
I think I had a bunch of different wake up calls. If I listened to all of them, probably not. But I think I was walking, I remember, and this is how I got the title from my book. I was actually walking my dog one day and just like having a moment where it's like feeling so heavy and just weighed down by so many different things in my life. I believe I was on the phone with my dad, and I was just like, just not sure about how to go in a certain direction for some things. And it just dropped in my spirit, like, don't go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go that way. Because I think that I was in a position where I was about to do something where it was probably, if I would have made that decision at the time, it would have probably like just moved my life in a direction that I may have had a hard time recovering from. I would have recovered from it, but I would have had a hard time recovering from it. And I think that's what did it for me. Like, okay, you know what? I have to be very intentional about the decisions that I'm making, because it's not just me, it's also my child. And then at the time, my younger sister was living with me. It's like, I have to be an example to these two, and then everybody else that's connected to me as well. Like, I have to be very intentional about what I'm doing with my life, because people are watching me.
Yeah. And I think the crazy thing about it is, it was funny how you said it wasn't like you wasn't going to be able to like come back from it, but it's kind of like why
Go through.
put yourself through it?
Exactly. Right.
You know? And so that was
Right.
real that's really something that I think that people, sleep on sometimes. It's like, yeah, you recover from it, but like why put yourself even in that situation
Yeah,
at
because you
all?
put yourself through things that it's like we do have God's grace. And I'm real big on thank God for his grace. And we
Mhm.
have his grace. But it's like sometimes we put ourselves through things that he never intended for us to go through.
Yeah.
He says he'll never put more on us than we can bear. But what I have learned in my life is that we add things to our plate that he never intended for us to pick up.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we go through our life and he's suddenly having to take things off of our plate that he never meant to place there. But if we would just follow his word or his direction,
Yeah.
we would be good.
Yeah, and I think that that also speaks to, your purpose, because it's
Hmm.
like instead of you wasting time trying to fix what
Right,
like maybe
exactly.
you messed up going the wrong way, like you could be that could be like
Somewhere
just
else.
months. Yeah, that
Right,
energy put somewhere
exactly.
else. Like you said. So now I know that um you talked about when you're going God's way, do you feel that it was difficult for you to break those habits that caused you to go in the wrong direction?
Definitely. And it still probably is today as well. Like nobody is perfect, we're all human. Um and we pick up habits along the way, whether it's like habits that we pick up because we're coping from hurt or loss that we deal with in our lives. So of course it's difficult, but that's why I always say thank God for his grace and thank God that he gives us ways to escape those things that we pick up that we didn't necessarily need in our life.
Hmm.
So it's a learning process.
Yeah. So now, do you feel that, you know, do you feel like with decisions that you make now, you just really have to just remind yourself, okay, I want to do it God's way. I want to do it God's
Yeah.
way. Because sometimes we'll be like, man, I'm gonna do it God's way for a solid year. Like, no,
And that's it, right?
and that's it. It better work out. But it is a daily sacrifice,
It
to be
is.
doing it God's way. So,
Definitely,
like,
definitely.
to our viewers, don't put that pressure on yourself just saying, like, okay, I'm just going to do it with God's way for this long. Like, no, just remind yourself daily in those choices that you make. So, I know that you are actually teaching us how to protect our purpose, but does your book actually help people find their purpose?
So I think that as you read it, and from some of the reviews that I've gotten, I think that it is helping people find it. My purpose, the way that I found it, was birthed through the pain that I experienced. And I
Mm,
think that, finding your purpose, it's not just a one time thing. You continually find it as you grow and as you evolve in life. So definitely the book helps you to find it. Um, and it's all about helping other people and giving back. That's what your purpose is. It's to
mhm.
not just pull yourself up, but to pull other people up as well.
Yeah. So now, what do you think about? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because you were saying that as you go along, then you do find your purpose. But do you think that um, like maybe a year or years later that your purpose could change? Like maybe it's not um so much focused on helping people, but maybe it's focused on something else. What's your thoughts about
I think so. Because okay, so I'm just now really finding out. Like I knew that I loved to write, but I never knew that I really wanted to also help other people to be able to publish their books as well.
that?
I thought it was just as far as like, okay, let me help people get their businesses set up because I'm an entrepreneur and I know what it is to start a business and fail, so let me help people not do that. But as I have grown in my writing and then learn more as far as what it takes to self-publish, my purpose, I think that it has evolved. It hasn't changed,
That's
but I
good.
think that it has evolved.
Yeah, I like that you said that you feel that it has evolved. Because I think that especially with God, when he learns so much, not when he learns, but when he feels that we are ready to handle
Right.
additional things,
Exactly.
then that's when it's kind of like, okay, well, yes, this is your purpose. Now let's maybe
Mm,
put on another responsibility that I feel that you can handle as well
definitely,
um,
definitely.
with that. So now I know that you mentioned your business. If you all, as the viewers, are interested in reaching out to Juanita, make sure that you go to that description box because that actually has her contact information there. And if you are interested in just reading a little bit more about Juanita's book, make sure you click on that link right there next to that dollar sign, and that will actually direct you to the book summary because we're just giving you a taste of the book, but you'll be able to read that book summary as well. So now, were there times when you felt that it was difficult to share the wrong turns that you made in life?
Definitely. First of all, you don't want people that are very close to you to be like, look at you like, oh, she's
Uh-huh.
not this. I don't even want to call myself a good, like, I know I'm not a perfect person. And I'm an
Yeah.
open book. I tell anybody, like, I'm not perfect. I
Yeah.
make mistakes, but you don't want to. And then also, like I said, how I initially started it, the way that other people are perceived in your story, you don't want to offend them.
Mhm.
But it's not about that. It's about taking accountability for yourself. And sometimes taking accountability for yourself does require you to put out there what other people have done to you. So I think that's the hard part.
Mhm.
Is not wanting to make other people look bad, but at the end of the day, it's not really about it making anybody look bad. It's about taking accountability for your own life and growing from the things you went through.
Mhm. Mhm. So now, how do you not have I'm not perfect? How do you not keep that as an excuse for yourself to continue to grow and grow in the likeness of God?
Right. So saying that you're not perfect is one thing, but taking the steps to better yourself every single day is something totally different, because I think that people can get stuck on I'm not perfect and God is still going to forgive me anyway and I have his grace. But at the end of the day, you should still always be doing the work to better yourself. And it's acknowledging where you aren't perfect and then trying to take the necessary steps to better yourself or perfect yourself.
That's good. So now, I know that we are talking about the different difficult times that you went through and things like that. And as you grow, you know, people are meeting the new you, and that's all about transformation and things like that. Why would you want people to be able to just know about the old you? Because it's like that was
Mhm.
the old me. This is the new me now. Like don't always just be bringing up our past. But why would you even want to allow people to do that now?
But I don't think that you would really know who I am today if you didn't know what I went through,
Mhm,
if that makes sense.
mhm.
And it's not to always put out there like, oh, I went through this, but this is who I am today because of where I was. So I've grown to be this person. And I think that it also can help other people, like I said, not to go through the same things that I went through.
Yeah, yeah. So now, how did you? We talked about the forgiveness of others, and we definitely know that God forgave you. But how did you begin to forgive yourself?
That's a good question. Um, just constantly doing the work, constantly. But and I think that's an everyday thing because we can hold so much guilt for ourselves. I feel like it's easier to forgive other people than it is to
Mhm.
forgive yourself, because you have to look in the mirror like, dang, like I did that, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's just remembering who God, first of all, discovering your purpose and remembering who God created you to be and who he says that you are. And I think that for me, that's what helps me to daily forgive myself, because it's a daily thing. It's not just a one, like, oh, okay, I'm good now. Because you
Mhm.
constantly sometimes have in the back of your mind, like, that's what I did so long ago. That's
Yeah.
maybe who other people see me as, but it's remembering who God says that you are.
And I think it's so cool how you didn't, even if you put yourself in a box back then, you did not keep yourself in that box. You didn't keep yourself in a box of, okay, well, I'm a teen mother,
Right.
and you allowed yourself to grow into, the woman that you wanted to become and things like that. I always think that it's important for people, especially when they have that relationship with God, to share their story. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to know Christ, and how you grow in your relationship with Him?
So, and I think I always say it's a daily thing. I'm not perfect. I'm not a Bible toting Christian. My parents are both pastors, so I grew up in church. My grandparents are pastors, so I kind of have that background for myself of knowing, where I come from, who I believe in. But just like going through the things that I have went through in my life, just having hope in something,
Yeah.
and hope in somebody, and that somebody happened to be Jesus. And then just seeing for myself the way that he's brought me out of so many situations that I never would have been able to get out of myself has helped me to continuously like just grow in my relationship with him. Like I say, it's an everyday thing. I'm not
Yeah.
perfect by any means necessary.
Mhm.
And I just learn it. The more I learn about myself, the more I learn about how good he is to me.
That's good. That's good. So now, I think that you really just opened up like a whole nother set of questions, but I'm not gonna ask you a million. But do you talk to us in your book about what that looked like as a preacher's child that became pregnant right out of high school?
No, I think that's a story for another book.
That's a whole nother book.
That's another book. No, I didn't talk about that. I could write a whole book on that,
Mhm.
but I didn't talk about that in this book.
So now, what would you say to that young person that is tuning in right now? They grew up in church like you, and you know um, they knew right from wrong and things like that. What would you say to that young person that's maybe struggling with asking themselves, "Do I really have a relationship with God at all?"
I would just say to, first of all, trust in who he is for you, and then also just, yes, you do. Everybody's relationship is different, and everybody's story looks different. My story looks different from yours, and he's going to use everything that we go through to better our lives. And then the earlier that you trust him and trust his direction for your life, the better. Don't put yourself in unnecessary situations.
Yeah.
Just trust him as soon as you can, because if we can trust God with the bad, imagine how much better he'll make our lives if we trust him with the good that he wants to give us.
Hmm.
That's the main thing I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So now, what did you actually feel like was missing from bookshelf that made you want to write your book? Don't go that way.
So I honestly like wrote the book for myself. I didn't even think that I would publish it, but just being able to give someone an inside look of like what a real person's life looks like, just everything that I went through, and hoping that somebody would pick the book up and be able to really say like, all right, no, this girl went through all of this. I don't want to go this way. So let me take a different direction for my life.
Yeah. Now, with the things that you went through and having that relationship with Jesus Christ, were there ever moments that you were angry with God, and how did you go through that with Him?
I think it's a daily thing. It's
Hmm.
just always asking yourself, like, did I really have to go through this? But I think it's understanding that we do put ourselves through situations that he never wanted us to go through. And I think that when I finally understood that, I think that it helped me to maybe have more forgiveness to him, because it's like, okay, well, you never wanted me to go through that in the first place, but I did my own thing.
Hmm.
And I think that helped my relationship a little bit more with him.
Yeah. And I think that that was good that you mentioned in the beginning, just owning up to the things that you did, the mistakes that you made. And I think that that does, like you said, that helps our relationship with God so much better, because you like, he could have took me out right then and there.
Yeah, I didn't have to go through all this. Why?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So now, what have you actually learned about yourself throughout your journey of becoming a published author?
I learned how I'm a really good writer, and I learned that I'm also the heart that I really do have for helping other people discover their purpose. And then also just how I can protect my purpose, and then also, like I said, help other people protect their purpose. Like that's really what I learned. How much I
Yeah.
love to write and want to help other people write as well.
So, with such a giving heart, though, how do you protect your servant's heart and not allow people to take advantage of that?
I think that probably is a lesson that I learned and maybe still learning to this day.
Mhm.
Um, but I think one thing that through the course of this year I have learned is if people really want to do something, they will be willing to invest in the thing that they really want to do, whether it's time, whether it's monetary. So it's just noticing those people from the people who just want you to give them something because they think that people owe them something.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that's how anybody can protect themselves that has a heart like mine that just wants to help everybody. So you have to know the difference between people who want to grow and people who just want to have something handed to them.
Yeah, yeah. And with the because I know how it is when you just want to just help everybody.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about having that discernment of knowing who to help and who allowing somebody else to help, even when that's just God helping
So, and I had to learn that it's everything is learning for me.
them.
Cause like I really want to help everybody, but you can't. You know,
Yeah, that's true. Uh-oh. So it looks like we lost Juanita, but I definitely thank Juanita for being on the show. And I definitely thank you all as the viewers for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Now, make sure that you continue to go to that description box because that actually has all of Juanita's um, information there, her social media handles, if you want to stay in contact with her as well. Also, make sure you click on that link that's right there next to that dollar sign because that actually has her book purchasing link, and you can read a lot more about Juanita's book. She has told us, just a little bit more about her life and her story. And this is the cool thing about this show, so that you will learn a lot more about the authors as well as why they wrote their book. So now, if you know somebody that could really be blessed by this book, make sure that you click on that link next to the dollar sign so that you can actually give them that book for them, bless them with that book as well. Another thing is it's never too early to bless yourself with something, so if this book is something that you definitely feel like is for you, make sure you read more from the purchasing link and make sure you just purchase the book for yourself. And I definitely again thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Also, if you are interested in never missing an episode of any of our shows, make sure you go all the way down to the description box and you will actually be able to follow us on social media. And again, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Tomorrow, we will actually have 4 authors on the show, and it's going to be our show, Authors Helping Authors, right here on the same page, Everything Authors or Martinique Y. Brown. And we will be talking to them about why they became an author and how it changed their life at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you guys have a great remainder of the night, and we will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.